Whenever you're ready.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to another edition of the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. This week without cameras because Skype doesn't like us, OBS doesn't like us, anything that involves technology just doesn't like us.
Anything that updated this week doesn't like us, basically.
But if there's one thing that does like us, or that do like us, I guess I wasn't an English major, is the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. And we've got it right here in front of us so we can deliver to you guys. So let's kick it off with the Raw and SmackDown notes, as we always do. WWE Monday Night Raw was titled, quote, Hell on the Horizon, which was an indication of WWE's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view coming up, and not directly attributed to any particular storyline WWE had on the night show. The title for SmackDown Live was, Hello, is it Wendy you're looking for? A reference to Wendy Styles, the wife of WWE Champion AJ Styles. Despite being advertised for Monday's episode of Raw, Brock Lesnar did not appear and had already left Brooklyn well before the show, as Fightful had already kind of mentioned, and I guess you can call reported, on their Raw post-show podcast on Monday. There was some back and forth throughout the day about Dean Ambrose possibly facing off against Drew McIntyre instead of Dolph Ziggler, with some of WWE's television partners being told that Ambrose would be squaring off against McIntyre. I think him facing Dolph, the right way to go.
Yeah,
that match was a lot of fun. And one of the more interesting notes, in my opinion, is about Matt Hardy. So Matt Hardy is still easing into his role producing, and nothing is set in stone at this time. He's been interested in taking a backstage role in wrestling for several years, and many wrestlers I've spoken to since Hardy has started things out are optimistic he'll be able to help several wrestlers find more of a voice on the show, if given an opportunity to make that happen. I really like that. I think that's great that Hardy kind of realizes, hey man, I may not have a lot longer. Let me take what I know and give it to these younger guys who can use it quite well.
And I do have a correction from something we reported earlier this week, where I said that Jason Jordan was the producer for the Peyton Royce-Naomi match. That was reported originally by PWU Insider. He was not the producer. It was Tyson Kidd, but I believe Jason Jordan either heavily shadowed Tyson Kidd during that, like was almost hands-on, or as close as you can be hands-on to not being the producer, or he just contributed to it. But Jason Jordan, like Matt Hardy, is also learning the backstage stuff as far as being a producer, because his neck injuries, it doesn't look good for WWE clearing him.
Yeah, especially him being so young. That is a huge shame.
Yeah,
I mean, Hardy is up there in age, so it does make
Matt's
sense
like
at some point. He's got to slow down.
41-ish. Jason Jordan's my age, 28, 29.
Yeah, exactly.
Like same age as Adam Cole.
Poor guy. Poor guy. He's a young kid. He had a ton of talent, and I hope he's able to use a lot of that talent still, either in independent promotions or even if he's just working backstage for WWE. Speaking of good young talent, NXT always has a good crop of young talent, and one of their newest signees, Matt Riddle, does a lot of work with Sean Ross Sapp, that is. So we're going to send you over. So is this like their final clip from their interview?
I think it's their final clip from their final interview, because since Matt Riddle is now WWE, they don't really let them just do any interview they want.
Exactly. So enjoy this clip from Matt Riddle and Sean Ross Sapp. We're going to send it to you right now.
I was on a conference call a while back with one Kenny Omega, and he put you over. He put you over big time, Matt. What'd you think about that? I know you heard about it.
I mean, I'm a fan of his work. I've seen him do a couple things, and I think he's one of the greatest things in the business of wrestling today. So hearing that from him is, that's awesome. That's a stallion move. It's you don't expect somebody at that level to even know who you are. And the fact that he knew who I was and spoke highly of me was, it was awesome.
So have you ever had any interaction with him? I mean, I'm sure have you all been on any shows together at all?
I shared a locker room with him at PWG, I think last year at Bola, and it was him tagging with the Bullet called the Young Bucks, and they did like a 6-man tag, I think, against like Phoenix, Pentagon, and somebody else. I forget.
Phoenix is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, but he killed it last night. But that's the only time I really didn't talk to him. I don't even know if we shook hands.
Really?
He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. I think we at least nodded. We were like,
yeah. So you're not the type of guy who walks in there and shakes everybody's hand.
Well, I'm not a real kiss ass, so I don't want to like, oh, Kenny Omega's here. I'm going to go up and shake a hand. It's like, it's more like if we walk by each other, I'll shake a hand. I just feel like a lot of times, and wrestling, a lot of times in wrestling, it's almost like, dude, I get it. Goodbye. Hello. Like, we shook hands like 6 times already. You don't have to shake hands every time you go to the gas station. Like, it's one of those things, But at the same time, you are showing mutual respect by shaking hands. But I think a bow or a nod is just as good as a handshake.
A bow, huh? Who have you bowed to?
Dude, I'll tell you this. When I first started wrestling, I tried the bow. And I
really?
would try to bow. Well, because everybody's grabbing hands and shaking hands, and I'm not used to it, and nobody wants to, like, fist bump, whatever. I was like,
it can get messy. It can get messy. You don't know where everybody's hands have been.
Exactly. You don't know where my hands have been.
That's very
maybe
true.
I like to keep a messy hand, and with people always trying to touch it, I feel bad. So I tried the bow, but it doesn't work. You always have to touch.
And if you guys do want to see the full interview, or I guess that full segment of that interview, head over to Fightful's YouTube channel or Fightful.com. Now, Tim, we've got something to talk about.
Yeah.
The boys in vests that do mean things to faces.
So, if you didn't see it on Raw, which I don't know how you haven't by now,
or Twitter or Instagram or any form of social media, because this is huge.
The Shield reunited at the end of Monday Night Raw, and Sean had this to write about it. The Shield's reunion was kept very quiet on Monday and played very close to the vest. Rollins and Ambrose didn't change into their Shield gear until really late in the night. WWE saw this as a major deal and treated it accordingly. There was no indication given to any broadcast partners, domestically or internationally, that the reunion would be coming. So basically, it was like, we're going to do this.
It was a surprise to everyone.
Yeah, and we're not telling a soul. They didn't put it in the script. Only the people that had to know knew about it, and I guess it went off well. It was very well received.
I guess, but
I think it was their highest rated YouTube clip of the week.
Can you really, really call it a Shield reunion?
Why you say that?
Because Kurt Angle and Triple H wasn't in it.
Well, Triple H doesn't really count because he didn't wrestle on TV with them. He wrestled against them. It was Evolution versus Shield.
No. Remember when he teamed with them?
On TV? I remember at the house shows. It was a house show.
Yeah, it was the house show.
It was an international house show.
He still teamed with them.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt...
And Angle.
That was TLC, though.
Oh, God. What a terrible time that was.
But, I mean...
I do want to kind of talk about that Shield returning and what that can mean. Not only for Raw, not only for Braun Strowman as Mr. Money in the Bank, and not only for Roman as Universal Champion. So what my first kind of opening question would be, do you think this was kind of done to help get Roman over more?
Oh, without a doubt.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're both in agreement on that. So my second question is, what are the odds of this kind of Shield reunion taking place? What are the odds of this resulting in Dean Ambrose getting his turn in the spotlight? I think eventually turning.
I think eventually someone's got to do something to break them up. The last time they broke up was basically
because of Dean when he got hurt.
Roman got hurt, so they kind of floundered a little there. That's why they had to add Kurt. And then Dean got hurt. Well, I mean, even before Dean got hurt, Roman was slowly fading off anyways. And then
because he had the sickness.
Well, no, that was when Kurt came in. But I'm talking about, like, Roman won the IC title from Miz, and he was slowly already fading off. Dean and Seth had won the tag titles, and then Dean got hurt. So, like, the last Shield, I guess you could say, reunion, the last one was just failed from it was just what's the word?
They
snake bit from the get go.
I've never heard that saying in my
snake bitten
fucking life. No.
Well, you're also not from the mountains. You're a city boy.
No one's ever said snake bit from the get-go.
I've heard that all the time about things that were...
It's doomed from the get-go.
Again, you're a city boy.
But I do think that this face, heel, bad guy, good guy, vigilante... I guess they would just be
That's
vigilante.
The other question. Are they faces? Are they heels? Are they tweeners? Or are they just the Shield?
I think they're just the Shield right now, and I think they have to transition into heels. What they did was very heelish, teaming up on one guy.
No.
But that one guy was Braun Strowman, who's the monster among men.
Now I have two things to say about that.
Go ahead.
So it is being advertised over the next couple of weeks for house shows and dark matches at Raw. The Shield versus Corbin, Ziggler, and McIntyre. So wouldn't that make the Shield baby faces based off of that booking?
I guess in theory that would make them the baby faces. And of course they're going to... I think maybe they got to play up that babyface role for a couple weeks, being that this is still going to be fun and a lot of people are going to mark out for the
till at least Super Showdown.
In assumption, people are going to really mark out for the theme song, for the Titantron. People are probably going to buy the merch. I mean, for God's sakes, 3 shirts come out.
Well, that's neither here or there, because WWE's got that new custom tees thing, and a bunch of people got just new random logos you can use. Because it's basically you go on there, click the logo you want, click what color shirt you want, and whatnot.
We fucking sponsored by WWE now? Jeez, why are we plugging them like this?
No. I'm just saying that's why they've got so many new Shield T-shirts. A bunch of people just got random new T-shirts you can get.
Right, but regardless, it should be interesting to see what happens with the Shield, where they go with this, what happens with Braun Strowman holding the Money in the Bank briefcase, because I don't think you're going to have 2 years in a row of your Money in the Bank holder getting screwed out of it. Corbin. Wait, no, Corbin. Who was Money in the Bank last year?
Corbin. He just failed. He didn't get screwed, I don't think. He just failed.
No, he got screwed by Cena.
Was it?
Remember, he was going to face Mahal, and Cena came up, distracted him on the ropes. Mahal got the roll-up.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I don't think you can have another year of that.
But I mean, and then
go ahead.
I would say back to the Super Showdown thing. It's also the question is, what do they do at Super Showdown? 2 of them are champions, but I am hearing that it could be a 6-man tag at Super Showdown because their thinking is, you put the Shield together at this big event, and if we can get that massive pop from the tens of thousands of people that are going to be there.
That'd be great.
But the issue with that, I mean, it would look cool and sound cool, but the issue with that is if they do a 6-man, your Intercontinental title is not defended, and your Universal title is not defended. And what's Roman's big thing? I'll always go out and defend the Universal Championship, unlike Brock Lesnar. So
it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Are they doing like a slew of house show runs as well down in Australia?
Not that I know of.
Well, we're going to have to see for that.
Because that's only in like less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's coming up very soon here in the, what is it, the...
October 16th-ish? I don't have the date off the top of my head. It's around October 6th.
Early odds of October. Let us know what you think about the Shield down in the comments below. Are they heel faces? What would you guys like to see them do? Let us know. And to close it out here, like we do every stinking week, we've got the boys in Toronto.
Together.
Together. Sean, Ross, Sapp, Jimmy Van, The List, and ya boy. We're going to send you over to them. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Fightful Wrestling Weekly. Enjoy.
What do you got on the list?
Yes, we got a lot on the list this week. We have to start with the big story. I think it was the big story from last week.
What's the big story?
We got to talk about Becky Lynch.
Okay, yeah.
We got to do this. So, Sunday night, after this match occurred at SummerSlam, Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte, I posted this on Twitter. Nigel, go ahead and put that up.
Yep.
Oh, I'm catching him off guard today, I think.
I don't know what it is.
I posted, they booked Becky to heel on Charlotte in Brooklyn. Haha, know your market. Everybody has probably seen the match.
What a nice number of likes.
Yeah, it did all right. And everybody has seen the match. They booked Becky to be a heel in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
When she was the babyface in the storyline.
Yep.
Of course, the crowd reacted the way they did. Now, you know that I respect Dave Meltzer. Pioneer in the business. I've always told you I respect him, right? However, on Sunday night, Dave Meltzer, I'm going to read something that he wrote when he was doing his SummerSlam review after that match occurred. Dave Meltzer wrote, quote, "This was a great build for Lynch chasing Charlotte for the title. The crowd was chanting for Lynch big because of how well it was set up. It would normally be a heel turn, but they read the crowd perfectly."
No, they didn't.
Well, no, I was going to say when he wrote that, I was stunned that he thought it was intentional.
Yeah.
Because to me, it clearly was not. To me, it was the company just not knowing their market. what happened on Tuesday, because Tuesday was going to be when we know for sure. Tuesday was going to be, right? And what happened on Tuesday, she continued the heel turn. She shit on the crowd. Oh, you think you like me, but whatever. I was stuck. So it's one thing to be in a market like Brooklyn where they're going to root for the heel.
Yep.
It's one thing to do that. In this storyline, she was set up from the very beginning as the babyface. Right?
Yeah, and
from the very beginning.
Everybody knows, especially in that market, how hard they're pushing Charlotte.
Yes. In the New York market, yeah.
The unfortunate thing of this is, well, they edited a lot of Becky's comments about the crowd turning on her out of the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And they ran a poll today, or I think it was yesterday or today, where they said, were you with Becky Lynch the entire time?
Right.
And 93% were yes. And Kyler tweeted that from one of our accounts, and he said, read the room.
Right.
There it is. And you have some people saying, oh, well, it's perfect. Lots of people have had their acts freshened up with a heel run. She didn't need her act freshened up with a heel run.
No, she was fine.
She needed her act freshened up with a run.
Yes.
Just a run. And people know that Charlotte is one of their favorites, one of WWE's favorites.
Roman Reigns. She's the Roman Reigns of the women's division. Yeah.
And they love sending her to Good Morning America and Today and all that shit.
And she's great with that stuff, too.
Yeah, she's fantastic with it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sometimes it's not your time. It's Charlotte's time to be a great heel, because I think that her swooping in and taking what was Becky's is a great heel move, and she's a much better opponent for her than Carmella would have been.
Right. And, again, it was stunning to me that they booked Becky the way they did, where she had told the story about, I'm never given the opportunity. Finally, she gets the opportunity. Then Charlotte gets injected into the match. Yeah. Then in the match, she's got Carmella in her submission finisher, and Charlotte gets her from behind to pin her. She's the babyface in the story.
And there's nothing wrong with them backtracking and saying, okay, we f***ed up. And even Becky Lynch could come out and say, okay, I was wrong. The only person I should be mad at is Charlotte.
They're not going to do that.
They won't do that.
No.
They won't do that. A simple I'm sorry goes a long way. Look what it did for Seth Rollins.
Look what it's done for you.
I mean, my God.
Like the few times that you admit I'm right and you're wrong and you say I'm sorry. It goes so far.
It
goes so far.
Hiring me, that was the right decision.
Yeah. So anyway, dumb. Let's move on.